Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a follow-up from last video where I discussed cosmetics and just gave you the rundown on which substats are the best to equip, or not equip, but which substats are the best to have for your cosmetics. And today we are going to actually discuss substats. Like I said in my last video, I've never seen this topic be discussed, so I thought now would be a good time to go over it and give you guys a rundown on each and every substat. And let us begin. I'm just going to take Lost Vein Meliodas just because he has the most broken set of substats in the whole game. Actually, maybe Lost Vein, I guess maybe Goddess Liz. Yeah, sure. We'll go with Goddess Liz. Is this fine? So, substats, pierce rate. Let's begin. Right, obviously we have all these substats there. Let's begin with pierce rate. What is pierce rate? So, pierce rate is pretty much the best way to sum it up is how much extra damage you do against a set amount of resistance. Resistance right below pierce rate. The two go hand in hand. We'll discuss more about the substats that go hand in hand later on, but yeah. So basically the general consensus of pierce rate is the more pierce rate you have, the more damage you're going to do, plain and simple. If you have low pierce rate, you're going to do less damage than other units. Obviously this is retrospective to what unit you're using, what kind of skills they have, yada yada, what team they're on. But generally speaking, units who have really high pierce rate are going to be doing good damage. And resistance is pretty much the opposite, where resistance reduces the amount of damage you take based on how much resistance you have compared to how much pierce rate the attacker has, right? So there's mathematical calculations for this. They are on the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross Reddit Discord, but quite frankly, I don't give two damns about maths, and I highly doubt you give two damns about maths. So I'm not gonna bore you with like the equations and stuff like that, because I could I don't care, and I'm pretty sure you don't care either. Maths is or whatever, who cares? But yeah, the higher resistance you have, the less damage you're going to take. Very very easy to explain, very simple to understand. Next up is regeneration rate. Pretty much the most irrelevant substat in the whole game. This substat is very irrelevant. You don't even notice it unless you are using someone like Red Escanor, who increases his regeneration rate by 50% for the first 3 turns. And you'll notice that because he will recover like 30,000 HP at the start of every turn. But yeah, pretty much regeneration rate is how much HP you recover at the start of every turn. And for 99% of units, you are never going to notice it. Maybe you'll notice at the start of your turn. After turn 1, of course, you don't regenerate anything on turn 1 because you have full HP. But after the first turn, you'll see that your unit will heal back just a little bit of extra HP. It's incredibly pointless. Not much to discuss there. Crit chance. Crit chance goes hand in hand with crit resistance. So, the higher crit chance you have, the more likely you are to land a critical strike. Of course, this depends on how much crit chance you have and how much crit resistance the defender has. So, very simple. Crit damage, this goes hand in hand with crit defense. A lot of substats do work in pairs. Besides regeneration rate, recovery rate, and lifesteal, the rest of them go hand in hand. So, crit chance with crit resistance, crit damage with crit defense, and pierce rate with resistance. So yeah, crit damage is just a percentage of how much extra damage you do when you crit. So of course, default damage is going to be 100%. If a unit has 100% crit damage, then when you crit, you will do pretty much the exact same damage as you would have done without a crit. And that's pretty much all for crit damage. Crit resistance, this basically increases or decreases the chances of your unit being crit. So naturally, the higher crit resistance you have, the more resilient you are to crits. Your unit isn't going to be crit too much. This is the biggest unit where this is actually obvious on is Gotha. Now Gotha is notorious for being the bane, just the biggest enemy for crit units like Zeldris, like Blue Arthur and stuff, because he just has the most ridiculous crit resistance, 85%, right? So if someone with 80% if someone, let's just say for example, someone with a 100% crit chance attacks Gotha, they will have a 15% chance to crit him, because crit chance and crit resistance, it works on a addition subtraction basis. So you subtract the crit resistance from the crit chance, and that's the chance the unit is going to have to crit. So yeah, the fact it works that way just means that having high crit resistance is just incredibly valuable, because of course you do not want your unit being crit left, right and center, unless the unit is of course Lost Vein Meliodas, who has 16% crit resistance on purpose to, you know, help him proc his passive. So yeah, but other than that, let's go back to Goddess Liz and we will discuss a bit more. So we discussed crit resistance, now crit defense. Crit defense works just like crit chance and crit resistance, where the way the maths is calculated is the crit defense is reducted from the crit damage. So, you know, if a unit with, I don't know, 156% crit damage crits a unit who has 56% crit defense, then your crit is pretty much gonna do no extra damage, because that's how it works. Crit defense, most units have average to above average. The only unit that actually has very high crit defense is Escanor. This man has a crit defense of 114%. So you crit Escanor with a unit that does not have very high crit damage, and you're pretty much, it's gonna be literally the same, if not worse, than a non-crit. Like, you're like, not critting him would have done more damage than critting him, because his crit defense is just so incredibly high. So yeah, crit defense for the majority of units, you're not gonna notice it, but on someone like Escanor, who is very resilient to crits, you will definitely notice that he does not get crit as hard. So yeah, and recovery rate is pretty much, how can I explain this? Recovery rate is how much you heal from a healing skill. So, but I do think someone did mention to me that recovery rate does have something to do with lifesteal, but I don't really know the maths about it, and I don't really care. So yeah, King has 140% recovery rate. So you know, I think that's very high. That means, I'm pretty sure recovery rate has something to do with crit heals. If you guys didn't know, you can actually get critical heals, so you literally heal for like twice as much. I'm pretty sure you've noticed it, right? Like when like maybe King does a level 2 heal, you'll see that maybe 1 or 2 units just healed a decent amount, and then maybe King himself healed back to full, like he healed a lot more. That's to do with recovery rate. I'm 99% sure. It obviously it makes you recover more HP from the heal, but it also increases your chances of a crit heal, which is to be honest, it's mostly irrelevant. Like, you know, it's not really gonna matter if a certain unit gets healed for more than other units. Like, it's pretty irrelevant. Not as irrelevant as regeneration rate, because regeneration rate generally is just like, you know, it's a complete waste of time. But at least the recovery rate does actually have a decent use. And Lifesteal, this is very important. Lifesteal is how much HP you heal back based on the damage that you do. So Lifesteal for some units, Escanor for example, right? Escanor has a very bad lifesteal, incredibly bad lifesteal, terrible lifesteal, 5%. When Escanor does damage, he's gonna heal back pretty much nothing because his lifesteal is so bad. However, we go to a unit like Zeldris. We take a look at Zeldris and we see that he has 21% lifesteal. This is very high, right? Lifesteal, even though it's a really low percentage, like it's not like 100% or 50, even though it's very low, each percent of lifesteal really does make a big difference. Like, there's a big difference between a unit with 10% lifesteal and 20% lifesteal, right? Because lifesteal is calculated with the amount of damage you do. So as you can guess, you know, if you have 10% extra lifesteal, you are going to heal so much more, because of course damage, you know, you do numbers like in gear, you'll do like 50k, 100k, 200k, 300k, maybe blah blah blah. So you know, lifesteal is very important there. And generally, units who have really high lifesteal are units that are most likely going to be pretty difficult to kill, because you'll do a lot of damage to them and then they might heal back all the damage that you did to them in like one attack or two. So yeah, lifesteal, very 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 important. And just in case you didn't watch my cosmetics video, do go check that out. But pretty much the most important substats for each class, because they're split into 3 different classes. I don't know if you can hear the fireworks. I apologize if you can hear them. For defense related stats, resistance is obviously the most important. For weapons, this is going to depend based on the unit, but generally I do think pierce rate is the most important. However, if the unit is a crit unit, maybe crit chance, maybe crit damage is going to be more valuable. And with a HP related stats, lifesteal is just the most important. There's just nothing else to it. Lifesteal is the most important one. So yeah, short video just explaining the substats, a follow-up from my other video, just in case I didn't want to overlap the two, because I had a feeling it would be over 20 minutes and I do not like to record videos over 20 minutes. So yeah, short video, but I hope you understood. Hope you took in the information. Maybe you knew it, maybe you didn't. There's not a video on YouTube that actually explains the substats, so that's why I thought I might as well go ahead and do that. But yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.